My name is Thomas Tom Harlan, 74, widowed for 9 years, living in the same modest bungalow in Wilmington, North Carolina, that Sarah and I bought back in 1982, when we were young, and the world felt wide open. The real treasure, though, was the beach house, our little slice of heaven on the Outer Banks, a weathered cedar shingle cottage in Corolla, with wide porches, salt-etched windows, and a private path down to the dunes, where the Atlantic rolled in like an old friend. Sarah and I called it Driftwood Haven. We built it board by board, with savings from my teaching job and her part-time library work. No mortgage, no debt. Just us, the ocean, and the promise we'd grow old there together. Sarah passed in 2015. Breast cancer, quick and merciless. She left me the house in her will, clear as day. Everything to me. No strings. Our only child, Lauren Elizabeth Harlan, now 41, married to a slick real estate developer named Marcus, mother to 2 kids she barely lets visit me. Never seemed to care much about the place while Sarah was alive. Lauren was always city-bound, Charlotte mostly, chasing bigger houses, better schools, status. But after the funeral, something shifted. It started small. Phone calls. "Dad, you ever think about downsizing? That beach house is a lot for one person." Then visits. She'd show up unannounced with Marcus, kids in tow, walking the rooms like appraisers. "This porch needs refinishing, Dad. And the kitchen. God, it's so dated." Marcus would nod, eyes calculating square footage. Lauren would sigh dramatically. "We could help you manage it, or, maybe put it in a trust for the grandkids someday." I smiled politely. "It's mine, sweetheart. Sarah and I earned it." She'd laugh it off. "Of course, Dad. Just thinking ahead." But the pressure built like a summer storm. By 2024, Marcus had lost big on a condo flip in Myrtle Beach. Lauren's Instagram showed perfect family vacations, private jets, European summers. But behind the filters they were stretched thin. One evening in late spring, Lauren called from their McMansion. "Dad, we need to talk about the beach house." I was on the porch, watching the sunset paint the Sound orange. "What's on your mind?" "Marcus and I are thinking, it's time. You're not using it much anymore. The kids would love summers there. And honestly, Dad, you're getting older. What if something happens? We don't want it tied up in probate or taxes. We could take it over now, handle maintenance, pay the insurance, let you visit whenever." I felt the first real chill. Take it over. As caretakers, or ownership transfer, for tax reasons. Marcus knows people who can make it smooth. You'd still be welcome. I laughed once, short, dry. "Lauren, the deed is in my name. It's not a timeshare." Silence. Then her voice sharpened. "You always say family first. This is family. The grandkids deserve memories there. And frankly, Dad, you're not exactly spry. Stairs to the beach path? That deck railing's loose. It's a liability." I gripped the phone. "I've walked that path every summer since before you were born." She sighed like I was being difficult. "Just think about it. We're coming down next weekend. We'll discuss it properly." They arrived Friday evening in Marcus's black SUV, kids glued to iPads, Lauren in designer sunglasses, Marcus carrying a briefcase like he was closing a deal. Dinner was tense. Lauren poked at the shrimp I grilled. "Dad, this place could be amazing with updates. New kitchen, open floor plan. Marcus has a buyer lined up who'd pay top dollar. Over $2 million easy." I set my fork down. "I'm not selling." Marcus leaned in, salesman smile. "Tom, hear us out. Liquidate now, invest the proceeds. You could buy a condo downtown. Easier living, no stairs, gated community. We'd handle everything. And Lauren's right. The grandkids need stability. Summers here would be perfect for them. Lauren nodded. Dad, you're being selfish. This house isn't just yours. It's family legacy. Mom would want... Don't, I said quietly. Don't bring your mother into this. She flinched but recovered. Fine, but we're not leaving until we figure this out. Marcus already talked to a lawyer friend. We can do a quitclaim deed. Simple. You sign, we take title. You keep visiting rights for life. I looked at her. Really looked. The girl I'd taught to swim in these waves, who once cried when a crab pinched her toe, now stared back like I was an obstacle. That night I couldn't sleep. I walked the beach alone, waves crashing cold against my ankles. The house lights glowed behind me, warm, familiar. Sarah's voice echoed in my head. This is ours, Tom. No one takes what's ours. By morning, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to fight. I was going to flip the script. I called my old friend Ray Jenkins, real estate attorney I'd known since college. Ray, how quick can we list a property? He laughed. For you? Tomorrow. What's the play? The beach house, full market, cash buyers preferred. And while you're at it, pull the file on the Charlotte property. Ray paused. The one Lauren and Marcus think is theirs someday. Exactly. See, years ago, when Lauren married Marcus, I'd quietly bought a second small condo in Charlotte as an investment, title in my name. I'd told them it was for the family someday. Lauren assumed it was willed to her. Marcus had even bragged about our future pied-à-terre. But it wasn't. It was mine. And now, it was leverage. I hung up, heart pounding, not with fear, but with something sharper. Clarity. Lauren and Marcus were in the kitchen when I came down. She was pouring coffee like she owned the place. Dad, we talked. We're serious. Sign the papers today. We'll make it worth your while. I smiled. Slow. Calm. I've thought about it. Her eyes lit up. Good. Marcus has the forms. I'm selling the beach house, I said. Marcus choked on his coffee. Lauren froze. What? Listing tomorrow. Cash offer already in discussion. Should close fast. Lauren laughed nervously. Dad, that's not funny. You can't... I can. It's my house. Marcus stood. Tom, let's be reasonable. The market's volatile. Better to transfer to family. No. I met his eyes. And while we're at it, the Charlotte condo, also listing. Next week. Lauren's face went white. The condo? That's for us. You said... I said someday. Someday isn't today. And today I'm choosing me. She stared, mouth open. The grandkids looked up from their tablets, confused. Marcus tried charm. Tom, come on. Family? Family doesn't pressure. Family doesn't demand. I walked to the door. You have until Sunday to pack. Then the locks change. Lauren's voice cracked. Dad. You wouldn't. I turned. Watch me. The door closed behind me. Outside, the ocean roared, steady, unchanging. Inside me, something finally broke free.
The weekend after Lauren and Marcus left, Sunday evening to be exact, the house felt different. Not emptier exactly, but quieter, in a way that let me hear my own thoughts clearly for the first time in years. Their SUV had pulled out around noon, tires crunching gravel like an angry exhale. Lauren hadn't said goodbye. Marcus had muttered something about talking to our attorney, but his usual salesman confidence had cracked. Just a hairline fracture, but I saw it. I didn't waste time. Monday morning at 8 o'clock sharp, Ray Jenkins met me at the beach house with a photographer and a "for sale" sign in the back of his truck. Ray was 68, silver-haired, still wore the same wire-rimmed glasses from college, and had the kind of dry humour that cut through bullshit like a good pocket knife. "Tom," he said, shaking my hand on the porch. You sure about this? 2.2 million is the low-end comps right now. Oceanfront, private path, no HOA nonsense. Could go higher if we stage it right. I looked out at the dunes. Sea oats bending in the breeze. Gulls wheeling over the breakers. I'm sure. Cash buyers only. Quick close, 30 days max. The photographer, a young woman named Mia with a drone and a knack for golden hour shots, spent 2 hours capturing everything. The wide living room with its vaulted cedar ceiling and wall of windows facing the Atlantic. The wraparound porch where Sarah and I used to sip coffee at dawn. The upstairs bedrooms with built-in bunks the grandkids once loved. The outdoor shower still smelling faintly of summer soap. She even got the kitchen, outdated Formica counters and all, but shot it with warm light so it looked charming, lived in, not neglected. While Mia worked, Ray and I sat at the picnic table on the deck. He spread out listing paperwork. Price: $2,395,000. That leaves room for negotiation but signals serious money. Disclosures are clean, no flood damage since the last reno in 2009, insurance current. You'll net north of $2 million after fees, taxes, whatever. I nodded. And the Charlotte condo? Ray slid another folder over. 3-bedroom unit in Uptown. Bought it in 18 for $420,000 cash. Your money, your name only. Current appraisal, $780,000. Market's hot there too. I can list it next week if you want both gone fast. I do. He studied me over his glasses. This about Lauren? I exhaled. The ocean rolled in, steady, indifferent. It's about me. For years I let her assume things were hers before I was even gone. The beach house was supposed to be our retirement dream, Sarah's and mine. Lauren treated it like a future vacation rental. Marcus saw dollar signs. Even the grandkids, they barely come anymore. Last summer they were here 3 days, glued to devices, complaining about sand. Ray chuckled softly. Kids today. My grandkids are the same. I'm not bitter, I said. Just done waiting for someday that never included me. He signed off on the listing agreement. It'll go live tonight. MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, the works. I'll screen calls. Cash only, pre-approved, no contingencies if possible. Mia finished shooting. These are going to sell it in a heartbeat, Mr. Harlan. People love authentic beach cottages. The history shows. History. That word hit different now. That night I stayed at the beach house alone. No TV. Just the sound of waves and the creak of the house settling. I walked every room slowly, touching the doorframe where Sarah had marked Lauren's height as a kid, still penciled in faint lines. Opening the closet where Sarah's old sun hat still hung, smelling faintly of coconut sunscreen and thyme. In the master bedroom, I pulled out the photo album from the bottom drawer. Wedding pictures, Lauren's first steps on the beach, family Christmases with driftwood trees decorated in shells. I didn't cry. I just closed the album and put it in a box labelled Keep. Tuesday morning the listing went live. By noon my phone started buzzing, notifications from Zillow, texts from Ray. 3 inquiries already. 2 cash buyers from Raleigh, 1 from DC. Serious players. I drove back to Wilmington that afternoon, windows down, salt air whipping through. For the first time in months, the drive didn't feel heavy. Lauren called Wednesday evening. Her voice was tight, controlled fury.
Dad, what the hell? The beach house is on Zillow? 2.3 million? Are you insane?
I was in my Wilmington kitchen, making coffee the old way, percolator on the stove. Good evening to you too.
Don't play cute. You listed it without telling us. That's our family legacy.
It's my property, Lauren. I told you I was selling. Marcus's voice cut in, speakerphone.
Tom, this is reckless. The market could dip. You're throwing away generational wealth. We had a plan.
Your plan, not mine. Lauren again.
The kids are devastated. They were counting on summers there.
I poured coffee, black and strong. Funny, they haven't asked to come in 2 years. Last time they were here, your son said the ocean was too loud and stayed inside playing Fortnite. Silence. Then her tone softened, calculated. Dad, please, take it off the market. We'll come down this weekend. We can talk, maybe compromise. You keep the house, we pay for upgrades. No. Marcus jumped in. At least give us right of first refusal. We'll match any offer. I smiled into my mug. Offers are already coming in above asking. Cash. No contingencies. Lauren's voice cracked. You're doing this to punish me. I'm doing this to live. You wanted me to downsize? I'm downsizing. Starting with assumptions. She hung up. Ray texted an hour later. First showing tomorrow. Out-of-town couple. Serious. Bring your A game if you want to meet them. I didn't need to meet them. But I did go back to the beach house that night. Sat on the porch until the stars came out over the sound. The for sale sign stood in the yard like a quiet declaration. Thursday, the showing. Ray handled it. I stayed in Wilmington, but he called after. They loved it, talking full price, cash, close in 20 days. Want to see if we can push for more? Let it ride, I said, but hold for backup offers. Friday. Lauren showed up at my Wilmington door, alone. No Marcus, no kids. She looked tired, makeup smudged like she'd cried on the drive. Dad, can we talk? Inside? I let her in. She sat at the kitchen table where she used to do homework as a teenager. I'm sorry, she started. I pushed too hard. I was scared. Marcus's business is struggling and the beach house, it felt like security. For the kids. For us. I poured her coffee. Security isn't something you take. It's built. She stared into the mug. I know I've been distant. Work, kids, life. But I never meant to make you feel like an ATM. You didn't. You made me feel like an obstacle. Tears now, real ones. Please don't sell. Or at least let us buy it. We'll figure out financing. I'll work extra. Anything. I sat across from her. Lauren, I love you. Always will. But this house was Sarah's and mine. Not a trust fund. Not leverage. I'm selling because I need to start living again, not waiting for someone else's timeline. She wiped her eyes. What about the grandkids? They'll lose their summers. They can visit me wherever I land. A condo, an apartment, a new place. But it'll be on my terms. She left after an hour, quiet, defeated. No anger this time. Just sadness. Saturday. Multiple offers. Ray called excited. We're at $2.45 million. Cash from a retired couple from Virginia. They want to retire here. Love the authenticity. Closing in 25 days. I approved it. Sunday. I drove to the beach house one last time before the offers finalized. Walked the path to the ocean. Stood at the water's edge as the tide came in, erasing my footprints. I whispered to the waves. Sarah. We did good here. Time to let it go. Back in the house, I started packing what mattered. Photos, Sarah's quilt, a few shells we'd collected over the years. The rest, the furniture, the knickknacks, could stay for the new owners or go to charity. The beach house wasn't ending. It was changing hands. And so was my life.
The offer from the Virginia couple, retired Navy captain and his wife, both in their late 60s, came in at $2.475 million cash. No contingencies, no inspections beyond a quick walkthrough, 30-day close. Ray called it clean as they come. I signed the purchase agreement that same afternoon in his office overlooking the Cape Fear River. The ink dried while I stared out at the water, thinking how strange it was that something so permanent in my life could vanish from it so quickly. Ray slid the check for the earnest money across the desk, $100,000 wired that morning. This goes into escrow. You'll see the rest at closing. Minus taxes, title fees, my cut. You're looking at just over $2.3 million net. Not bad for a little cedar cottage. I folded the receipt into my wallet. Feels like more than money. He leaned back. It is. You're buying freedom, Tom. Most folks never get that chance. Driving back to Wilmington, I stopped at a roadside seafood shack, oysters on the half-shell, cold beer, picnic table under string lights. I ate slowly, watching families laugh around me. For years I'd skipped places like this because Lauren would call it wasteful, or Marcus would say too touristy. Today I ordered a second dozen and tipped generously. The Charlotte condo listing went live the following week. Ray priced it aggressively. $825,000. Modern building, uptown views, walking distance to restaurants and the kids' old schools. Lauren and Marcus had walked through it once years ago, gushing about future family gatherings. They'd even left a few framed photos on the walls, grandkids at Christmas, Lauren and Marcus smiling in front of the skyline. I'd never taken them down. Now they felt like placeholders. Offers rolled in fast, 3 within 48 hours. Highest? $860,000 cash from a young tech couple relocating from Raleigh. Quick close, no drama. I accepted it. Ray handled the paperwork remotely. Lauren found out about the condo listing before I could tell her. She called at 7:15 a.m. on a Tuesday, voice shaking with rage. Dad, the uptown condo's on the market. You're selling that too? What the hell is wrong with you? I was on my porch in Wilmington, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise over the Intracoastal. Good morning, Lauren. Don't good morning me. That place was for us. You promised. I never promised. I said someday for the family. Someday came and went without anyone bothering to visit or call unless they needed something. Marcus jumped on the line. Tom, this is vindictive. You're liquidating everything we could have used. The kids will be fine. They have 2 parents with good jobs. Or at least one of you does. Lauren's tone shifted, pleading now. Dad, please.
Pull the listing. We'll buy it. We'll scrape together the down payment. Marcus is closing a deal soon. No. She started crying. Real sobs. The kind I hadn't heard since she was little, and scraped her knee on the beach path. You're cutting us out. Completely. What did we do that was so terrible? I closed my eyes. The ocean breeze carried salt and memory. You treated me like the end of the line, instead of the beginning. You assumed ownership before I was gone. You pressured, manipulated, guilted. I gave you everything growing up. College, wedding, first home down payment. I never asked for thanks. But I won't be erased while I'm still breathing. Silence stretched. Then Marcus. We'll fight this. Lawyers. Undue influence. You're not thinking clearly. Good luck, I said quietly. Everything's in my name. Clean title. No trusts. No co-ownership. You'll waste money you don't have. Lauren whispered, I hate you for this. The words landed like a wave, cold, heavy. But they didn't knock me down. I know, I replied. But I don't hate you. I just love myself enough now to stop letting you walk over me. I hung up. The next few weeks blurred into a rhythm of packing, donating, and planning. I hired a local estate sale company for the beach house furniture. Most of it stayed for the buyers, who wanted the authentic coastal vibe. What I kept fit in a few boxes. Sarah's quilt, the photo albums, a driftwood lamp we'd made together, my fishing rods, a small wooden chest of seashells from every summer since 1982.
I donated the rest, beds, couches, kitchenware, to a women's shelter in Wilmington. The coordinator, a kind woman named Maria, hugged me when I dropped it off. This will help so many families start over. I smiled. That's the idea. For myself, I started looking. Not for another big house. Something smaller, simpler. A one-bedroom condo in downtown Wilmington, balcony overlooking the river, walking distance to coffee shops, bookstores, the Riverwalk. Price, $385,000. Cash purchase. No mortgage. Closing the same week as the beach house. I toured it alone. The agent kept apologizing for the size. It's cozy, Mr. Harlan. Not much room for guests. Perfect, I said. I'm done hosting expectations. I signed the contract that afternoon. Lauren tried one more time, showed up at the Wilmington house unannounced 2 days before the beach house closing. She stood on the porch, arms crossed, eyes red. Dad, I drove all night. Can we please talk? No Marcus, just us. I let her in. We sat in the living room, same couch where she'd told me about her first boyfriend, where Sarah had held her through fevers. She didn't sit. She paced. I get it now. I pushed too hard. I was scared. Our finances are a mess. Marcus's deals keep falling through. The kids need stability. I thought, if we had the beach house, it would fix things. It wouldn't, I said gently. Houses don't fix people. Tears again. I'm sorry. For everything. For assuming. For not visiting more. For treating you like you owed us. I nodded. Apology accepted. She looked up, hopeful. So, you'll stop the sale? No. Her face fell. Why not? Because this isn't punishment. It's consequence. And it's my turn to choose how I live the rest of my life. not waiting for visits that might never come, not maintaining a house for ghosts. She sank onto the couch. Where will you go? New condo downtown. Small. Mine. I'll walk to the river every morning. Maybe take up painting. Sarah always wanted me to. Or just sit and watch the world go by without a to-do list. She stared at the floor. The kids will miss you. They can visit. The door's open. But on my terms. No pressure. No assumptions. She nodded slowly. I don't know how to fix this. You start by living your own life, I said. Not mine. She left quietly. No hug. No promises. Just a soft, I love you, Dad, at the door. The beach house closed on a clear October morning. I didn't attend. Ray handled it. The new owners wired the funds. My bank account balance jumped. $2.3 million plus the Charlotte condo proceeds, $810,000 net after fees. Total? Just under $3.2 million. More money than Sarah and I ever dreamed of having at once. I stood on my new condo balcony that afternoon, watching container ships glide down the Cape Fear. The river sparkled. Gulls called. For the first time in decades, the future felt wide instead of weighted. I whispered to the wind, Sarah, we're free. The tide had turned.
The keys to my new Wilmington condo arrived in a plain white envelope from the title company on a crisp November morning. I drove downtown alone, parked in the underground garage, spot 412 reserved, and rode the elevator to the 8th floor. The hallway smelled faintly of fresh paint and someone's coffee brewing nearby. When I turned the key in 8B, the door opened to sunlight pouring through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Cape Fear River. It was small, barely 1,200 square feet, but perfect. Open living/kitchen area with granite counters and stainless appliances, newer than anything in the beach house. One bedroom with a walk-in closet, a bathroom with a walk-in shower, no tub to clean, and a balcony just big enough for 2 chairs and a small table. No yard to mow, no stairs to the beach, no expectations hanging in the air. I set the boxes down in the middle of the empty living room and stood there for a long minute. The river glittered below, brownish-green, busy with tugboats and pelicans skimming the surface. A freighter slid past, slow and massive. I opened the sliding door to the balcony. Cool wind carried the faint tang of brackish water and diesel. Home. Unpacking took 3 days, slow, deliberate. I hung Sarah's quilt on the wall above the bed like a tapestry, placed the photo albums on a low shelf where sunlight would hit them in the mornings, set the driftwood lamp on the side table. The fishing rods went in the coat closet. I'd take them out to the pier someday, but not yet. The seashell chest stayed closed for now. Too many memories to open all at once. I bought only what I needed. A comfortable recliner, a small dining table for 2, even though I'd eat alone most nights, basic pots and pans, a coffee maker that brewed 1 perfect cup at a time. No guest room, no extra linens just in case. The real estate agent had called it cozy. I called it mine. First morning in the new place, I woke at dawn. No alarm, just the soft grey light filtering through blinds I hadn't yet replaced. I made coffee, carried it to the balcony, and sat. The city was waking. Cars on the bridge, joggers on the riverwalk below, a lone rower cutting through the water. No rush. No to-do list taped to the fridge. Just me
and the river. I started small routines that felt revolutionary after decades of shoulds. Walked the riverfront path every morning, 3 miles round trip, stopping at the same bench to watch barges pass. Bought fresh bread from a bakery 2 blocks away instead of the discount loaves I used to stockpile. Read actual books again, library card renewed, stack of historical novels, and a biography of Ernest Shackleton on the nightstand. Even tried watercolour painting, bought a cheap set at an art supply store downtown. My first attempts were muddy blobs, but the act of dipping the brush felt like breathing. Ray called a week after closing. "Funds cleared, everything's final. You're officially a man of leisure, Tom." I laughed. Real, easy. Leisure sounds fancy. I'm just here. Any regrets? I looked out at the river. A dolphin fin broke the surface, then vanished. Not one. Lauren didn't call for 3 weeks. When she did, it was late on a Sunday evening, voice softer than before. "Dad, I saw the Zillow listing for the beach house sold. And the condo, too. Congratulations, I guess." "Thank you." A pause. "The new place? Is it nice?" "Small, quiet, river view. I like it." Another pause. "The kids asked about you. They want to know if they can visit for Christmas." I leaned against the balcony railing. Wind ruffled my hair. "They're welcome any time, but no pressure, no expectations. Just come if they want to see their grandfather." She exhaled. "I'm trying, Dad. Really. Marcus and we're in counselling. Finances are tight, but we're figuring it out. I got a part-time job at the kids' school, administrative stuff. It helps." "I'm glad." "I miss the beach house," she said quietly. "Not the money. The place. The memories." "So do I admitted. But memories aren't tied to walls. They're here." I tapped my chest. She laughed, a small, sad sound. "You sound different. Calmer." "I feel different."
We talked for 20 minutes about the grandkids' school plays, her new routine, my painting attempts. She laughed when I described the abstract blue blob that was supposed to be the ocean. No begging, no guilt trips, just conversation. Before we hung up, "Dad, I'm proud of you for choosing yourself." The words landed gentle. "Thank you, Lauren. I'm proud of you for trying." Christmas came quiet. The grandkids, Emma, 10, and Jack, 8, did visit. Lauren drove them down alone. Marcus stayed in Charlotte for work. They arrived with a small tree in a pot, homemade ornaments, and tentative smiles. We decorated together. I taught Jack how to tie sailor knots for the garland. Emma painted with me. Her ocean scene came out bright and wavy, mine still muddy. We walked the riverfront, fed ducks, ate seafood at a little dockside place. No big gifts. I gave them each a jar of seashells from the old collection, labelled with dates and places. First crab pinch, 2010. Sunset walk with Grandma, 2005. Lauren watched from the couch, eyes shiny. They'll remember this more than any fancy vacation. I nodded. That's the point. She left after 3 days, no drama, just a hug that lingered. We'll come back in spring, if that's okay. Doors always open, I said. After they left,
The condo felt peaceful again. I sat on the balcony with a glass of bourbon, Sarah's favourite brand, and watched the lights on the river. No loneliness, just contentment. New Year's Eve I spent alone, by choice. Cooked a simple steak, opened a bottle of red, put on Sinatra. At midnight, the fireworks over the river lit the sky in bursts of colour. I raised my glass to the night. "To new horizons," I said aloud. The river answered with a soft lap against the pilings. Freedom wasn't loud. It was steady, like the tide. And I was finally swimming with it.
Spring arrived soft and slow in Wilmington. The Riverwalk azaleas bloomed pink and white. The air carried the sweet salt mix of marsh and ocean, and the city felt alive in a way I hadn't noticed when I was still tethered to the beach house. My new routine had settled like good sand after a storm. Coffee at dawn on the balcony, morning walk along the riverfront, a light lunch at the cafe downstairs, afternoons for reading or painting. My blues had improved, less muddy, more like the Atlantic on a clear day. Evenings watching the lights come on across the water. I turned 75 in April. No big party, just a phone call from Lauren in the morning. "Happy birthday, Dad. The kids made you cards. I'll mail them." And a quiet dinner alone. Grilled shrimp from the market, fresh corn, a cold beer on the balcony. I toasted the river with Sarah's favourite glass. Another year, love. Still here. The grandkids visited twice that spring. First in March for spring break. Lauren drove them down for 4 days. No Marcus. He was travelling for work, she said, but her voice didn't carry the old strain. We walked the battleship North Carolina, fed seagulls at the dock, built sandcastles on a public beach, not ours anymore, but the waves didn't know the difference. Emma asked about the old house. "Do the new people like it, Grandpa?" "I hope so," I told her. "It's a good place for new memories." Jack found a perfect whelk shell on the shore and gave it to me. "For your collection." I added it to the chest, now on a shelf in the living room, lid open so the shells caught the light. Lauren stayed longer each visit. We talked more, real talk, not negotiations. She told me about counselling, about Marcus's business slowly recovering, about her new job turning full-time. "I'm learning to budget," she said one evening over takeout on the balcony. "No more assuming things will just work out." I nodded. "That's a good lesson. Took me 74 years to learn it." She looked out at the river. "I'm sorry it took losing the beach house for me to see you, really see you, as a person, not just Dad." I reached over and squeezed her hand. "You're seeing now. That's enough." By summer, things had eased into something steady. Not perfect. Trust rebuilds slowly, like dunes after erosion. But honest. Lauren called every Sunday. The grandkids sent drawings and videos. Once, they FaceTimed from a public beach day. "Look, Grandpa, we're making the same castle you taught us." I laughed. "Add more moats, keeps the dragons out." I didn't miss the beach house the way I thought I would. Sometimes I drove out to Corolla just to look from the road. The new owners had painted the shutters a soft grey, added solar lights along the path. It looked happy, lived in. That was enough. Instead, I found new water. The river became my daily companion. I bought a small kayak, nothing fancy, just enough to paddle out at dawn when the water was glass smooth. One morning, I drifted past a pod of dolphins. They surfaced close enough to see their eyes, curious and calm. I sat there, paddle across my lap, letting the current carry me. No agenda, no rush. Ray and I met for coffee once a month.
He'd tease me about being retired rich, but I corrected him every time. Not rich, free. One afternoon in July, Lauren asked if she could bring the family for a weekend. No agenda, just visit. I said yes. They arrived Friday evening. Lauren carried groceries. Marcus, surprisingly, carried a cooler of fish he'd caught that morning on a charter. The kids ran straight to the balcony, yelling about the boats. We cooked together. Grilled fish, coleslaw, cornbread. Marcus and I talked. Awkward at first, then easier. He admitted the pressure had come from fear. I thought if we had assets, we'd be safe. Turns out safety's not in deeds. I raised my glass. To figuring it out. After dinner, Lauren and I walked the riverfront while Marcus watched the kids play a board game inside. She slipped her arm through mine. Thank you for letting us come, for not closing the door. I never wanted to close it, I said. I just needed to choose which side I stood on. She nodded. I get it now. We stopped at the bench I liked, the one with the view of the turning basin. Fireflies blinked over the water. Dad, if you ever want to come back to the Outer Banks, even just for a day, the beach is still there. Public access. We could go together. I smiled. Maybe someday. But right now, this river's enough. Back at the condo, the kids were asleep on the pull-out couch. Marcus had cleaned the kitchen without being asked. Lauren hugged me goodnight, longer than usual. Love you, Dad. Love you too, kiddo. They left Sunday afternoon. The place felt quiet again, but not empty. I stood on the balcony as their car disappeared over the bridge. The sun dipped low, turning the river gold. A heron lifted off from the marsh, wings slow and deliberate. I whispered to the evening. Sarah, look at us. Still standing. Still moving. The water answered with a gentle ripple. Life isn't about holding on to houses or inheritances. It's about opening doors. Your own first, then others when they're ready. The beach house was gone, but the horizon stayed wide, and I finally had both hands free to reach for it.